All right. Are we live? Okay. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Larry James. My company is Speak with Larry. And I want to talk today about something very interesting that I've been sharing with some people who have actually began their entrepreneurial journey. And once you do that, you're going to run across people who question you about certain things. And this is one of the questions that a lot of new entrepreneurs, not new, because when you're really new, you're not really making any money. But once you start to make a little money, what's a little money? Hmm, $200-300 a week, $700-800 a month, just on your little side hustle, your side business, right? That's a little money. Once you start to make a little money like that, people begin to ask you this question. So, how much money do you make? What would your answer or your response be to that? Because you don't really know how to answer that question unless you are actually in the entrepreneurial game, right? But when you're in the entrepreneurial game, when you're doing something that's generating an income, that's harder than you think. It's more difficult than you think because it's not just making your first $200 or $300. You have to become consistent with generating income in order to grow your process, right? So when someone says, "So how much money do you make?" You can't really respond to that. And I recommend that you don't respond to that because my response used to be, "So how much of my money can you really spend? Because you can't spend any of my money. So what does that matter to you?" But as I delve more and spend more time dealing with that actual question, my response became kind of a mute type of response because if you if you don't know anything about entrepreneurship or becoming an owner of anything, uh, then it's going to be difficult for you to actually understand. Because if I tell you I make $5,000 a month, then your mind is going to go to the $5,000. It's not going to go to the effort that it takes to make that $5,000. You're going to be at, okay, it was 12 months in a year, $5,000 a month. That's where your mind will go because you're not in the game. You're not in the actual um, putting the pieces together to make the whole process work. You're not in that. You're in a whole nother mindset, which is good. That's okay. It's just that they're different. Just know that they're different. And by them being different, the conversations you have with people who are entrepreneurs are going to be very different from the ones that, are sitting on the sidelines criticizing, wanting to get in the game, but constantly making excuses why they can't do it. I don't have the time. That takes a lot of time. I don't like reading. That always throws me off. Um, because you don't have to read anymore. You can watch videos. You can listen to podcasts. Reading is just like for the people who really get it. You know what I'm saying? If you don't really get it, you can still get it. It's just there are levels. And that's what I like to share with people that I speak with because as you're making the decision, when you first make that decision that you're going to do that, you're going to start that little business. That's going to take 110% of your effort, and by you being willing to put in that 110% effort, you'll be rewarded. However, it will take time. And if at any point along that time that I'm talking about, you stop, you got to start all over again. But you're starting more informed, more knowledgeable about the process. But my suggestion is just don't stop. Just slow down if you need to. Redirect your mind to someplace else for a minute and then come back because it's about momentum. See, have you ever heard the phrase, uh, "If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready"? See, by constantly being in it, you're staying ready. So when an opportunity presents itself, you can identify that as an opportunity rather than an obstacle, right? A lot of people see opportunities as obstacles simply because they don't really, you don't spend enough time with something. It's like, think about like a child. If you have a child, like let's say you're a grandparent and your grandchild comes visit you for the summer. That's 3 months. Let's say, the way it used to be, 3 months. During that 3 months, you're going to learn a lot about that young fella or young lady that you didn't know. They're going to learn a lot about you. And their perspective will shift after that short 90 days, because now they know Pawpaw or they know Meemaw, or whatever you guys call each other as grandparents. But the beautiful thing about that, it works that same way when you're learning something as well. When you're learning something, uh, you're going to be privy to some things that who are not in that arena or not in that uh, area learning. Because if you just go home and go to work, go home and go to work, go home and go to work, you're not going to know nearly as much as someone who has an actual agenda that they want to read 10 pages a day of X book, and then they want to read, let's say they want to read a book a month for 3 months, on a certain topic. If you just simply do that, now I know a lot of you guys are not readers. You don't really have to read like that nowadays. If you just watch videos, if you just commit to watching, let's say in a 30-day period, if you commit to watching three videos a day for 3 days a week over that 30-day period, you'll have, but take notes, because that's how you get it from here to here. And then when you go over those notes, it'll replay back in your mind when you first saw that. You'll say, okay, well, that's what that really means. Because I'm a note taker. I like to take notes whenever I'm studying a video or watching someone speak or listen to a podcast. I like to take notes because I like to be able to use what I like when I hear it. See, that's all we do anyway, is when you listen to me speak or talk about certain things, if you hear something you enjoy or you like, or you want to share that with your friend and your cousin and your mom or your dad or whoever, your son or your daughter, uh, that's what you'll take away. You watch the whole entire video, but that's the meat or the nugget that you'll take away. And that's cool. That's great. I recommend that you do that. And when you do that enough, let's say you get 2 of those out of 3 videos that you watch. Okay. And then now you're going to remember those. You got those written down. So when you're sharing your content, you might say, I was watching a video the other day and they had, these are the best ways to do X, whatever X is, right? Now the viewer can say, hey, I didn't know that. I think I'm going to try that and see if that really works. Because see, what you're doing is you're familiarizing yourself with a process. See, this videoing is a process. The creating podcasts is a process. The writing blogs is a process. And it's a good process, a fun process, but process just the same. And at the end of that process, you're a lot wiser and a lot smarter in line with the direction you're trying to go. Whereas, let's say you and I say we're going to study the stock market, and this is February the 4th, and we say, okay, we're going to study for 30 days, and I start today, and you don't start today, and you don't start tomorrow, and a week's gone by, and you still hadn't started, and I'm studying every day. Who's going to know more about the stock market than the other? I'm going to know way more than you, because I don't just study videos. I listen to podcasts, read blogs, and study the stock market, actual S&P 500, those types of Wall Street newspaper, newsletters, and all that. If I'm interested in that, because you need to know and be familiar with all of that, because that's how you become better. that's how you change from who you are to who you want to be. That's how it works. But if you don't put the work in, you stay who you are. And then you get someone coming up behind you making a decision to do something different. And then you have the nerve to say, oh, I don't like him, or I don't like her. She thinks she this, she thinks she that. But that's life. Don't let that catch you up, because it will. And once you get your mind focused on something that you want to do and get done, it won't any longer, because you got something to do. You're focused on something. So again, when someone asks you, so how much money do you make? Never tell them how much money you make. Because once people know how much money you make, then they have a plan for your money. They have a plan. See, that determines whether or not they want to continue spending time with you too. Because if you, let's say I'm making $10,000 a month. If I'm making $10,000 a month, but you're not seeing that, I'm not driving a new car, I'm not taking trips around the world, those type of things, you think I'm not making anything, right? People that don't know, they think that you're not doing anything because they don't see material stuff. That's okay. You don't have to see it. It's not for you to see, but you know as an individual, as the person that's doing, what's going on, right? But don't tell people how much money you make. Just let them wonder. Just keep them curious, because the world we live in today, people will target you once they know you make money. Yeah, they will. They'll have an agenda for you. They want to rob you. They want to steal from you. They want to take from you. It's the way it is. It's the way it is. So always be diligent with your funds, but don't tell people. Just give them a number. If you want to give, if you got to give them anything, just give them a number. Not too much, because again, they will make plans to be in your world, and it'll come as a friend, under the guise of being a friend. But before long, they're writing down information. Okay, he's here at this time of day. He's there at that time of day. Well, now I can call him, and then he'll be there, and I'm gonna get it, right? Anyway, that's how it works. I'm making these videos so that you guys can understand that this is a process. This is video number probably 23, 24. I'm in the 20s. I know that. I'm not keeping up with them right now, because I'm kind of going at my own pace. I can kind of go at my own pace. I really can do a lot of videos in a short period of time, especially 5, 10, 15-minute videos, because I have that type of conversation now, right? I'm able to add little stories in there, and those stories are interesting too, right? So you'll be able to do that too, but you got to get started. You got to get in the game, and you will, won't you? All right. My name is Larry James. My company is Speak with Larry. And as always, share with someone else what I've shared with you.